Chapter 3. Training begins, and a new rivalry is born. Morning settled quietly over Siluria as Ryuji followed a narrow path through the towering bamboo. The stalks swayed gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering overhead, while warm rays of sunlight filtered through the gaps. His new black and crimson haori brushed against his legs with each step, the golden dragon embroidered across the back, glinting whenever the light caught it. Everything felt different. New clothes, a new world, and somehow he could feel that this day was the start of something much bigger. He reached the end of the path and pushed the bamboo leaves aside. A spacious training ground opened before him. Stone platforms, wooden dummies, weapon racks, and climbing ropes stood beneath the morning sun. It looked peaceful, until Ryuji spotted someone standing beside Ryuki. Ryuki waved with his usual relaxed grin. "Yo, Ryuji," he called casually. "You're late." Ryuji rubbed the back of his head, with an awkward smile before glancing at the unfamiliar boy. "Who's that?" he asked cautiously. Ryuki chuckled and pointed his thumb toward him. "This little jungle cat?" he said with a grin. "Taiga Arakur, my other student." Taiga slowly looked up, his sharp green eyes locking onto Ryuji. A dangerous smirk spread across his face as he folded his arms. "So this is the dragon cub, huh?" he said confidently, his voice carrying the calm assurance of someone who feared absolutely nothing. Without another word, the two boys continued staring at each other, silently sizing up the person standing before them. Taiga took a slow step toward Ryuji, his sharp green eyes never leaving him. A faint smirk tugged at his lips before he clicked his tongue. "TCH. He tilted his head slightly, as if studying him. "You smell like hesitation." Ryuji's brows knitted together, irritation flashing across his face. "What did you just call me?" Taiga didn't answer straight away. Instead, he looked at the sword hanging at Ryuji's side. "You carry a sword," he said calmly, "but you don't know how to use it." His smirk widened. "You're gonna slow us down." Ryuji stepped forward without thinking, meeting Taiga's stare. "You want to test that?" The distance between them vanished in an instant. Neither looked away, and the air seemed to grow heavier as they stood only inches apart. Their first meeting hadn't even lasted 30 seconds, and they were already on the verge of a fight. Before either of them could make another move, Ryuki casually wandered between them, chewing on a strip of dried meat as if nothing unusual was happening. "Easy, Tiger and Dragon," he said with a lazy grin. "You'll both get plenty of time to break each other later." Taiga let out a quiet chuckle and took a step back. "Hope so." Ryuji folded his arms, still glaring. "I'm not losing to a guy who doesn't even wear shoes." Ryuki looked from one to the other before breaking into a laugh. "This is going to be so much fun." The next morning, the bamboo training grounds were calm, bathed in warm sunlight as birds drifted through the clear sky. Ryuji walked into the clearing, rolling his sore shoulders after yesterday's events. Probably sword forms, he thought, or meditation. Instead, he stopped mid-step. What? Ryuki was sprawled across a giant stone, arms behind his head, lazily chewing on a blade of grass as though he didn't have a lesson planned at all. Sensei?" Ryuji called. "I'm ready. What's first? Sword forms? Footwork?" Ryuki sat up with a mischievous grin. Today's lesson. He reached beside him and lifted a handful of fresh green leaves, holding them up as dramatically as if they were legendary treasures. "Is a game, I call it," he announced proudly. "Wind Cutter, the Leaf Slicing Challenge." Ryuji stared at him in disbelief. "You're joking?" Without answering, Ryuki casually tossed the leaves high into the air. They fluttered and spun through the sunlight like tiny green feathers. "You sliced them before they hit the ground." Ryuji blinked. "That's it?" Ryuki's grin only grew wider. "That's everything." Ryuji folded his arms, eyeing the drifting leaves with clear suspicion. "And this trains me how exactly?" Ryuki simply shrugged, wearing the most innocent smile he could manage. "Who said anything about training?" Ryuji stared at him for a long moment before letting out a tired sigh. "I'm starting to think you're a terrible teacher." Ryuki only grinned. A gentle breeze swept through the bamboo. The leaves floated downward, dancing through the golden morning light. Ryuji drew his sword in one smooth motion. His eyes narrowed as he swung. Another slash, one final desperate strike. The leaves drifted harmlessly to the ground around his feet. He hadn't cut a single one. Ryuki watched the entire performance in silence before taking another bite of his dried meat. "Impressive," he said with a smug smile. He somehow got worse halfway through. Somewhere beyond the bamboo, a burst of laughter echoed through the forest. Taiga had clearly been watching the whole time. Ryuji took a steady breath as the leaves floated into the air. His sword flashed. One leaf split cleanly in two. A small smile crept onto his face. Then the remaining leaves drifted gently to the grass. Pat, pat, pat. Ryuki glanced at the ground before giving his verdict. Fail. Ryuji stared at him. What? I hit one. Ryuki folded his arms, but 6 hit the ground. He shrugged casually. So, fail? Another handful of leaves soared into the air. Ryuji slashed again and again, silver flashes cutting through the morning light. Yet most of the leaves slid past his blade untouched. This is ridiculous, Ryuji muttered, lowering his sword. Ryuki leaned back against the stone, though the playful grin on his face softened. Maybe. A brief silence followed before he added, or maybe you're just too slow. Ryuji's grip tightened. The moment your body moves before your fear does, Ryuki said quietly, that's when you survive. The words lingered in the air. Ryuji lowered his sword for a moment, thinking, before slowly raising it again. His eyes were steadier than before. Again. A proud smile spread across Ryuki's face as he tossed another handful of leaves into the wind. Good answer, kid. The bamboo forest soon became a familiar sight to Ryuji. Every morning, sunlight filtered through the towering stalks as leaves drifted lazily through the air. What looked so fragile at first became the center of his training. For the first few days, he couldn't understand it. How is cutting leaves supposed to help me fight monsters? He asked, frustration creeping into his voice. Ryuki only smiled from beneath a nearby tree and tossed another handful into the wind. The leaves danced unpredictably. Little by little, Ryuji's eyes began to change. He stopped seeing leaves as something to cut. Instead, he watched the wind carry them. He noticed how each leaf moved differently, how some fell faster while others lingered in the air for just a moment longer. At the same time, he began noticing himself. His grip tightened before every swing. His breathing grew uneven whenever he rushed. His hesitation always reached his sword before his courage did. One morning, Ryuki broke the silence. Your sword tells me what your mind refuses to admit. Ryuji lowered his blade slightly. What does it say? Ryuki's smile didn't fade. That you're thinking too much. The words stayed with him. From then on, Ryuji watched everything. The leaves, the wind, even his own movements. Every swing became calmer than the last. Every breath steadier. Ryuki watched from the shade of the bamboo, quietly amused. Took you long enough. Ryuji simply exhaled and relaxed his shoulders. What had begun as endless frustration was slowly becoming understanding. When another handful of leaves filled the air, his sword moved almost on instinct. Shing! Several leaves split cleanly in half before they could touch the ground. Only then did Ryuji understand. This had never been a game. It was a mirror, revealing every weakness hidden within him, and teaching him how to overcome them, one falling leaf at a time. Late that morning, the bamboo grove felt quieter than it had before. The forest hadn't changed. Ryuji had. Instead of fighting the wind, he listened to it, watching the leaves drift through the sunlight with calm, steady eyes. Above him, Taiga lounged across a thick bamboo branch, lazily chewing on a strip of dried meat. TCH. What kind of warrior trains by chasing leaves like a kitten? Ryuji ignored him, keeping his attention on the leaves. Taiga smirked. So you're really gonna spend your whole day swinging that thing at falling leaves? I'd rather be in the jungle hunting something with teeth. Without looking up, Ryuji answered, says the guy who growled at a butterfly yesterday. Taiga blinked before letting out a short laugh. Ryuji's lips curled into the faintest smile as another leaf drifted toward him. Shk! His katana flashed once, slicing the leaf cleanly in half. It's not just about the leaves, Ryuji said, lowering his blade. It's about learning when to strike. Taiga rolled his eyes dramatically. Yeah, well, if that's all it takes to be a warrior. A mischievous grin spread across his face. I'm way ahead of you. The two couldn't have been more different. Ryuji trusted patience, discipline, and careful observation. Taiga trusted instinct, moving like a wild beast that never hesitated. From beneath a nearby tree, Ryuki remained stretched out in the shade, looking as though he was asleep. Yet a faint smile rested on his face. Whether through patience or instinct, He believed both of his students would one day be ready for the darkness waiting ahead. The afternoon breeze carried another wave of leaves through the bamboo grove. As Ryuji calmly tracked them with his eyes, without looking up, he asked, "Ryuki made a game for you too, didn't he?" High above, Taiga lounged on a bamboo branch, though his usual grin faltered for a moment. "That stupid beast hunt thing?" He scoffed. "Yeah, that was a joke." Ryuji rested his katana on his shoulder and glanced up at him. "It's funny, you know. He told me you quit after one try. Said you called it pointless. But when I think back, you didn't leave because it was pointless. The way you stormed off said enough." Taiga's eyes narrowed. "I didn't storm off," he snapped. "That's just how he made it look. Who needs games like that? I train in the real world, not like some..." He apologized, though. The words stopped him cold. "Sorry, huh?" "Yeah," Ryuji replied quietly. He didn't argue. He didn't try to stop you. He just apologized. Taiga dropped from the branch with a heavy thud, fists clenched at his sides. Ryuji watched him for a moment before speaking again. "Maybe that's how you know how strong he really is." The wind rustled through the bamboo. Taiga turned away, unable to hide the frustration on his face. "Doesn't matter," he muttered. "I'll train myself. My way." He started walking toward the edge of the clearing. "I don't need his stupid games." His pace quickened. "I'll show him what real training looks like." Ryuji remained where he was, watching silently as Taiga disappeared into the bamboo. In the distance, beneath the shade of a tree, Ryuki lay quietly with his eyes closed, a faint knowing smile resting on his face. Dark clouds rolled over the bamboo grove, and the warm afternoon air grew heavy with the promise of rain. Ryuji and Taiga stood several meters apart, neither taking their eyes off the other. Between them, Ryuki rested casually against his katana, wearing the relaxed smile of someone enjoying the show before it had even begun. "Well, well," Ryuki said. "Looks like the boys are finally ready to test their skills." His smile widened. "Ryuji, Taiga, the moment one of you lands a clean hit, the match is over." He stepped aside. "No holds barred. Show me what you've learned." A gust of wind swept through the bamboo as distant thunder rumbled overhead. Ryuji tightened his grip on his katana. "Guess it's time to prove who's faster." Across from him, Taiga crouched low, his grin growing wilder. "Don't blink, Dragon Boy," he said. "You might miss your chance." For a heartbeat, everything was still. Then the ground erupted beneath them. Whoom. Both launched forward at the exact same instant. Ryuji's blade flashed from its sheath. Shh! Taiga charged head-on without hesitation, moving with the explosive speed of a hunting beast. Their attacks crossed in a blur. Shing! Ryuji's katana sliced past Taiga's cheek by mere inches as Taiga's hand tore through the air, just short of Ryuji's shoulder. Thwip! They shot past one another before skidding across the rain-soaked ground. Slowly, both turned to face each other again as the first raindrops began to fall. Drip, drip. Watching from the edge of the clearing, Ryuki folded his arms, a knowing smile spreading across his face. "Oh yeah, this is gonna get interesting." Rain drummed softly against the bamboo as Taiga exploded forward with a furious roar. Rah! His fist shot straight toward Ryuji's face. Thump! Ryuji didn't move until the very last instant. Clang! Using the flat of his katana, he knocked the punch aside with a single, precise motion. "Too slow," he said calmly. Taiga's eyes flashed with irritation. He spun into a powerful kick, cutting through the rain. Whoosh! Ryuji simply shifted his footing and raised his blade. Shh! The kick slid harmlessly away, leaving Taiga to crash back onto the muddy ground. Thud. Breathing heavily, Taiga glared at him. "Why won't you just fight me?" Ryuji answered only by lifting his sword once more. With an angry growl, Taiga charged again, unleashing a relentless barrage of punches, elbows, and kicks. Clang, shing, tak. Each attack was met by the flash of Ryuji's katana. Every strike was redirected. Every opening was closed. The more Taiga attacked, the calmer Ryuji became, his blade flowing like water through the storm. Rain poured harder as Taiga staggered back, disbelief written across his face. What the hell? Ryuji remained silent. Raindrops slid down his face as his crimson eyes stayed fixed on his opponent. Reflected in the polished steel of his blade was Taiga himself. Wild, relentless, and unable to break through Ryuji's unwavering defense. The rain had turned the training ground into slick mud, but Taiga didn't slow down. He drove forward again with another furious punch. Damn it, stop dodging! Swoosh! Ryuji slipped beneath the strike with a single smooth step. I'm not dodging. His katana glided through the air, gently redirecting Taiga's arm instead of meeting it head-on. Taiga answered with a relentless barrage of punches and spinning kicks. Bam, bam, bam! Yet every attack was met with the quiet ring of steel. Clang! Ryuji wasn't retreating. He was guiding the fight, moving around Taiga so effortlessly that it almost looked like a dance. His Hari flowed behind him as Taiga stumbled after another overextended strike. What the hell? Taiga gasped. Ryuki watched from the edge of the clearing, a knowing smile spreading across his face. Then Ryuji moved. One step, one swing. Shrek. His katana cut through the air with incredible speed, stopping only inches from Taiga's shoulder. The force of the swing burst outward. Boom! Taiga was blasted backwards, skidding through the mud before dropping to one knee. His chest rose and fell as he struggled to catch his breath. Why? He panted. Why can't I hit you? Ryuji lowered his blade, his expression calm as the clouds slowly began to part overhead. Because he looked directly into Taiga's eyes. You're not seeing the whole picture. For the first time since their rivalry began, Taiga had no comeback, only silence. Taiga gathered the last of his strength and charged once more. There was no strategy left, only determination. With a shout, he threw himself at Ryuji, refusing to accept defeat. Ryuji stayed where he was. His breathing remained slow and steady as he watched Taiga close the distance. At the final moment, he swung. Not with the edge of his katana, but with the flat of the blade. Thwack! The impact echoed through the clearing, sending Taiga crashing backwards across the soaked ground. Boom! He landed hard in the mud. Thud. Damn it, he muttered between heavy breath. For a few moments, only the sound of rain dripping from the bamboo could be heard. Ryuki pushed himself away from the tree with an easy smile. Looks like Ryuji wins this round, Taiga. He folded his arms. You've got a lot to learn. Ryuji walked over, resting his katana at his side as he looked down at his rival. Is that what real training looks like, Taiga? Taiga glared back, pride refusing to let him stay down. Slowly, he forced himself onto his feet, brushing mud from his vest. This isn't over. The determination in his voice was as strong as ever. Ryuji gave a small nod, accepting the challenge without another word. Watching the two boys, Ryuki smiled with quiet satisfaction before slipping his hands into his sleeves. Good. Now get some rest. His eyes drifted between the dragon and the beast. You're both gonna need it. The bamboo swayed gently as sunlight finally broke through the clouds, bringing the spar to a peaceful end.